Most people want to be rich, but they think exactly like someone who never will be. And the problem isn't a lack of money, opportunity, or intelligence, it's impatience. Maybe you work hard, consume financial content, try to make the next big move, but deep down you feel like you're always starting from scratch, always chasing, always waiting for results that never come. I've seen this up close, and it was only when I understood how the top 1% really think that everything changed. They don't try to win fast. They're not chasing excitement. They use a single mental rule that protects their decisions for decades, while most people self-sabotage in just a few months. In today's video, I'm going to show you the silent rule that separates those who build real wealth from those who keep jumping from one opportunity to the next. Stick around until the end, because understanding this could completely change the way you make decisions about money and your life. Rule number 1, long-term mindset. Most people say they want wealth, but they think like someone seeking immediate relief. They chase quick gains because they confuse money with emotion, not with building. The top 1% follow the opposite logic. They treat time as the most valuable asset in the financial game. To them, wealth isn't the result of a few brilliant decisions, but the consistent repetition of reasonable decisions over many years. That difference in mindset separates those who build wealth from those who just get lucky every now and then. In the book The Psychology of Money, Morgan Housel explains that the real engine of wealth is compounding over time. He studied decades of financial behavior and showed that average people with discipline outperform extremely smart individuals who can't stay consistent. The key point is not to predict the market, but to stay in it. Those who exit too early destroy exactly what would have made their money grow, the compounding effect of past decisions. One of the clearest examples of this mindset is Warren Buffett, often cited as a genius investor. What most people don't realize is that the majority of his fortune was built after he turned 65. Not because of a sudden strategy shift, but because he simply stayed in the game. Buffett let time do the work while resisting the urge to act on impulse. He understood early on that patience isn't passivity, it's an advanced form of control. This mindset translates into very specific and unexciting practices. Automating monthly contributions eliminates the human error of deciding based on mood. Sticking with the same asset allocation for over a decade avoids the destructive cycle of entering and exiting the market due to fear or hype. Ignoring noise, headlines, and momentary opinions protects the investor from themselves. These decisions may seem simple, but they require emotional maturity that few people develop. The problem is that the human brain hates waiting. It craves stimulation, novelty, and the feeling of doing something. The 1% understand that movement isn't the same as progress, and that overaction is often a sign of anxiety, not strategy. While most people confuse excitement with advancement, the financial elite chooses the predictable, repetitive path, and it's precisely that strategic boredom that builds real wealth over time. If you take an honest look at your own financial decisions, you'll clearly see the pattern. Are you acting to relieve immediate emotions or to follow a plan that will only show results years from now? Wealth doesn't reward speed, it rewards consistency. Those who understand this early build freedom. Those who don't spend their lives jumping from one opportunity to another, thinking they were just unlucky, when the real problem was impatience. 2. Behavior beats intelligence. There's a dangerous illusion in the financial world that knowing more guarantees earning more. Smart people with tons of courses and information keep making the same basic mistakes because they can't control their behavior. The truth is simple and uncomfortable. One-time brilliant decisions don't build wealth. What builds wealth is repeated behavior when no one's watching, especially during moments of boredom, fear, or euphoria. In the psychology of money, it becomes clear that financial success is rarely a logic problem. It's almost always an emotional one. Housel analyzed investors over decades and showed that the winners aren't the best calculators. They're the ones who stay calm under pressure. Ordinary people with self-control outperform geniuses who sabotage their own strategies. Intelligence creates possibilities, but behavior determines the final outcome. Most people think they need more information to improve their finances. The top 1% know they need more discipline. While many jump from course to course, formula to formula, the truly wealthy focus on quiet habits. They understand that self-control is more valuable than prediction. It's not about knowing what to do. It's about doing the right thing consistently, even when the impulse is to quit. That's why the most consistent investors use simple systems to monitor themselves. A daily checklist to track consistent versus impulsive decisions creates real awareness. Avoiding impulse buys isn't about deprivation, it's about inner command. Reviewing financial goals every 2 weeks keeps the brain aligned with the long term. Writing down decisions that led to financial regret turns mistakes into feedback, not guilt. These kinds of practices seem small, but they gradually shift your mental patterns. When you begin to see your decisions with clarity, money becomes less emotional. The brain starts to associate wealth with control, not with instant pleasure. That's how the top 1% make fewer mistakes, not because they're smarter, but because they observe themselves more. If you stop right now and look at your financial history, the pattern becomes obvious. Your biggest losses came from impulsive decisions, not from lack of knowledge. Wealth doesn't require genius. It requires emotional consistency. Those who master their behavior build wealth almost without realizing it. Those who don't spend their lives trying to learn more, when the real problem was never a lack of information. 3. Define enough before chasing more. There's a silent mistake that destroys entire fortunes without making a sound. Never deciding what enough means. Most people chase more money without a clear finish line. This creates an endless pursuit, driven by social comparison rather than purpose. The top 1% understand that wealth begins with clearly defined limits. Before chasing more, they decide where it would already be safe to stop. When you don't define what's enough, any external reference becomes an internal command. Someone else's car, a coworker's salary, or a lifestyle on social media starts dictating your decisions. This leads smart people to take unnecessary risks just to avoid feeling left behind. The problem isn't wanting to grow, it's growing without an anchor. Without a clear enough, the game never ends. The truly wealthy do the opposite of what most people imagine. Before scaling up, they build an emotional and financial safety zone. This zone protects against impulsive decisions driven by envy or FOMO. Once the basics are secured, the brain stops operating in survival mode. From there, growth becomes strategic, not desperate. Defining enough is not about giving up ambition. It's about organizing it. It's knowing what income level supports your desired lifestyle, what level of wealth brings true peace of mind, and which luxuries are actually irrelevant. That clarity gives you decision-making power. You start saying no easily because you know exactly what's already enough. Few things bring more mental freedom than that. A simple exercise can completely change this internal logic. Take your time and write down your enough. Ideal monthly income, target net worth, desired lifestyle pace, and how much responsibility you're willing to carry. Once this becomes concrete on paper, financial decisions become calmer. Money stops being a race and becomes a tool. You start using the game instead of being used by it. Watch how your decisions shift once that limit is clear. Fear fades, comparison weakens, and patience grows. People who don't define enough live with a constant sense of lack, even when they have plenty. Those who do define it build wealth with more peace and fewer mistakes. This is one of the least talked about, yet most respected secrets among the top 1%. 4. The role of patience in real wealth. Patience is one of the most misunderstood traits when it comes to money. Many associate patience with passivity, as if waiting were a sign of weakness or lack of ambition. The top 1% see it differently. Patience is a sophisticated strategy. They understand that real financial growth happens in a non-linear way, after long, seemingly quiet periods. Those who can't accept this natural rhythm abandon the process too early. Compound interest and exponential growth work invisibly at first. In the early years, the results seem irrelevant, almost frustrating. That's exactly when most people give up, change plans, or try to force things to happen faster. The problem is that financial growth doesn't respond to human urgency. It responds to continuity. Those who stay consistent when there's no visible reward create structural advantage. There's a clear contrast between what's emotionally attractive and what actually works. Slow and steady progress is boring, not Instagram-worthy, and doesn't make for exciting stories. And yet, that's the path that builds lasting wealth. Most people want to feel progress. The top 1% prefer to measure progress. They trade emotion for logic and entertainment for accumulated results. That's why experienced investors think in long time frames, not short cycles. A 10-year plan completely changes how you react to market swings. Setting a net worth goal gives you direction. Annual rebalancing keeps risk in check. Reviewing your portfolio every 5 years allows rational adjustments without anxiety. All of this reduces impulsive decisions disguised as strategic moves. When you adopt this long-term horizon, the outside noise loses power. News stops feeling urgent. Market dips stop feeling like existential threats. Time starts working for you because you stopped fighting it. That calm doesn't come from blind confidence, but from structural clarity. You know where you are and where you're going. If there's a silent dividing line between those who build wealth and those who just try, it's here. Patience filters people. Few can stick to a plan when nothing seems to be happening, but those who can almost always go further than they imagined. In the game of wealth, winning isn't about speeding up. It's about staying in the game. 5. Diversifying income sources. Most people see income as something singular and fragile. One salary, one boss, one monthly paycheck, and if it fails, the whole structure collapses. The top 1% think differently because they learned early on that relying on a single source is a silent risk. They don't build wealth on just one pillar. They build on multiple streams that support each other, even if one fails. This mindset completely changes the way money is perceived. A salary stops being the ultimate goal and becomes the starting fuel. While many feel secure having a fixed income, the wealthy know real security comes from redundancy. The question they ask isn't how much do I make? It's how many different places is it coming from? That way of thinking creates psychological stability even before financial stability. In practice, the top 1% spread their energy across different income classes. Financial assets, real estate, businesses, equity stakes, royalties, or passive income structures all coexist in the same plan. This doesn't happen overnight. Diversification often starts small, many times alongside the main income source. The secret is to structure growth, not to abandon everything for one big bet. Here's where an important contrast appears. Those who see wealth as a salary think in terms of limits. Those who see it as a system think in terms of expansion. A single paycheck will always have a ceiling, based on hours, job title, or market conditions. Multiple income streams create a multiplying effect. Even if each one grows slowly, together, they build resilience. That's how the wealthy reduce anxiety and gain flexibility. A simple way to structure this is with the 70-30 rule. 70% of your energy focused on active income, the one that pays the bills and keeps things stable. 30% directed toward building passive or scalable income, even if it seems insignificant at first. The key is that this slice exists and grows year after year. Without it, your future becomes too dependent on your present. Once you internalize this logic, your decisions start to shift. Spending gets evaluated based on its impact on the system, not just short-term comfort. The fear of losing a single income source decreases because it's no longer your only source. Diversifying income isn't about greed, It's a smart survival strategy. Those who understand this early build freedom. Those who don't live constantly at the mercy of the next paycheck. 6. Emotional control in financial decisions. Very few people lose money due to a lack of technical knowledge. Most lose because they make decisions under intense emotion. Fear and greed are primitive forces, fast and convincing, especially when money is involved. The top 1% don't eliminate emotions. They learn to decouple emotion from decision. They understand that feeling is human, but acting on impulse is optional. From a psychological perspective, financial decisions made in heightened emotional states tend to repeat bad patterns. When fear takes over, people sell at the bottom to stop the pain. When greed takes over, they buy at the top to avoid missing out. This cycle repeats generation after generation. The wealthy break the cycle by creating distance between the emotional trigger and the concrete action. That's why high-performance investors build protocols before they need them. They know that in the heat of the moment, the rational brain loses ground. Having predefined rules protects against decisions that seem logical at the time, but end up being disastrous. Emotional control is not about willpower. It's about decision architecture. Those who rely solely on self-control tend to fail under pressure. One simple and powerful technique is to create a filter for high-impact decisions. Any move involving more than 5% of the portfolio must go through a minimum 72-hour pause. That delay drastically reduces reactive decisions. During that time, the investor reviews objective reasons and separates facts from emotional narratives. Urgency almost always fades when time is introduced. Also, the top 1% never make decisions in complete darkness. Before acting, they consult at least one clear quantitative metric. It could be valuation, cash flow, risk-adjusted return, or historical context. The number doesn't decide alone, but it grounds the decision in reality. Emotion yells, data whispers, but it's consistent. That balance changes everything in the long run. When you learn to operate this way, money stops being a constant emotional trigger. Market swings become information, not threats. Your brain enters a state of strategic calm, not survival mode. Those who master their emotional state protect their wealth without heroic effort. Those who don't transfer money over and over to those who do, without even noticing. 7. Build a financial safety buffer. There's a quiet difference between those who seem confident with money and those who actually are. The top 1% know that most bad financial decisions come from urgency, not from lack of ability. When there's no margin of safety, any unexpected event becomes a threat. Bills, crises, or sudden opportunities force rushed decisions. That's why, before thinking about aggressive growth, they build space to breathe. This financial buffer isn't just a technical reserve, it's a powerful psychological tool. Having money set aside to get through difficult times completely changes your mental state. Your brain exits survival mode and enters strategic mode. Someone with margin can say no, can wait, can negotiate better. Someone without it accepts anything because they have to solve the immediate problem. While many see savings as idle money, the wealthy see it as protection from desperate decisions. They understand that the greatest risk isn't missing out on gains, it's being forced to act poorly. Aggressive leverage without protection may look bold, but it's usually fragility in disguise. Protect first, grow later. That order isn't conservative, it's smart. In practice, the most common rule is to keep 6 to 12 months of living expenses in liquid reserves. It's not a magic number. It's a range that offers real flexibility. This reserve allows you to weather crises without selling investments at the worst time. It also lets you take calculated risks when opportunities appear. The buffer doesn't slow growth. It sustains it. Once that foundation is in place, your behavior subtly shifts. You negotiate more calmly, invest with less anxiety, and handle external pressure more easily. Money stops being an urgent problem and becomes a long-term variable. That's a privilege few build, but anyone could with discipline. In the end, the buffer is what separates real confidence from artificial courage. Those who live on the edge call tension motivation. Those who have margin call calm a competitive advantage. The top 1% don't gamble their stability to prove something. They protect the game so they can keep playing. And that, in the long run, makes all the difference. 8. Growth mindset. Lifelong learning. There's a rarely discussed pattern among the truly wealthy. They never consider themselves done. While most people associate learning with the start of their careers, the top 1% treat education as a lifelong process. Not because they love collecting information, but because they understand that the world changes too fast to operate with outdated mental models. The moment you stop learning, you start, without realizing it, losing ground. The wealthiest don't study to make more money tomorrow, but to think better for the next 20 years. They invest time in reading, reflecting, and having strategic conversations because they know better decisions come from sharper thinking. Lifelong learning isn't academic, it's practical. It means learning to spot risks before they appear and opportunities before they become obvious. There's a clear contrast here. Most people vote daily for routine, for intellectual comfort, and for repeating what they already know. The top 1% vote for cognitive discomfort. They read what challenges them, study what they don't yet master, and talk to people who think differently. Mental growth is rarely comfortable, but it's almost always profitable in the long run. To make this more concrete, many create a simple but consistent yearly plan. One book per month keeps the brain exposed to new ideas. Occasional courses update specific skills as the game evolves. Strategic conversations with mentors or peers elevate thinking and prevent internal blind spots. It's not about extreme quantity, it's about smart consistency. This habit creates a cumulative effect similar to compound interest. At first, it feels like nothing changes, but over time, your way of making decisions, assessing risks, and spotting opportunities transforms. People who keep learning make fewer expensive mistakes because they notice patterns earlier. They don't react to the world, they anticipate it. In the end, sustainable wealth requires more than just money working. It requires a mind that evolves with the context. Those who stop learning depend on luck. Those who learn continuously build structural advantage. The top 1% know that their greatest asset isn't financial capital, it's the ability to think better than average, repeatedly over time.